Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. We've got a trio of videos here for you now, all featuring the Bassman from Hell. In the first one, he's in the AMX 13105 on the North Spawn of Steps Encounter, and he's in the AMX 13105, the Tier 10 French light tank with a 105mm gun. Okay, game started. Well, only carries 3 shells, but they can do quite a lot of damage with standard APCR do 390, and you can fire those shells fairly quickly at the enemy. It does have a fairly long reload, as you can see here, and he's doing the job of a light tank, but he's spotted some enemy tanks already. Appears that there are a few making their way over towards the cap area. It's an encounter game, so it's all about the cap. He hasn't been spotted yet. He's spotted quite a few of the enemy, but he's not been spotted himself. Oh, now he has. And I think it was that EVR 105 who spotted him. So he has to move, because, yeah, that's going to happen. Just took a round from a CS63. Has to get out of there quick. Now, this tank is based on the AMX 13-ton tank. It's actually, they did design it and build it, but the French Armed Forces never actually bought the 105mm one because the gun was just too powerful. It actually would crack the turret. So in the end, it was, I think, only the Argentines who actually bought some of these. But it is an AMX 13-ton tank, which is actually quite a good light tank. And I suppose, well, the 105mm gun, you'd only really use it if you were encountered the enemy, but it's only really for self-defense in that sense. It's a reconnaissance tank, really. Oh, first shot actually hit the tracks, but he gets the second one in. He still hasn't fired the third, and he managed to get away without taking any damage from the enemy. So it's kind of hit and run. In fact, actually got more assistance damage during that moment by finding out where the enemy was. In fact, now up to 2,474 hit points. And it looks like he's going back for another shot after he's reloaded. As you can see, there's an awful lot of the enemy been detected. Of course, this and the T100LT used to be the top dog when it came to light tanks, until of course the advent of the wheeled vehicles, the menace that they've become. They've really ruined the game to a certain extent, because light tanks used to be about being able to hide in a bush and not having to keep mobile all the time, just spotting the enemy. Of course, you could actively hunt the enemy down if you wanted to, but most of the time it was just about passive spotting. But the wheeled vehicles now, they've made everybody active, and well, they are just a menace because, of course, they're just so powerful. It makes it very difficult to play the game properly. He gets one round into the CS63, the one who hits him, and he's out of it again. Now, he's kept his 2 shells for the moment, but he might pop the reload unless he thinks he's going to ambush another tank. There's an ST2 up here. That guy's probably kind of unsuspecting at this moment. Okay, locked on. Fires the first one in. Fires the second one in. And now all he needs to do is escape without getting hit. Oh, that was close. That was close. And the ST2 is down, so that's a real bonus for them, because the ST2, the double-barreled Soviet heavy, is rather dangerous. Now, the Bassman from Hell doesn't just play light tanks, he plays all sorts of tanks, including Arty and, well, even tank destroyers. I must admit, so do I now, actually. you can find enjoyment in any type of tank, really. That's CS63 relocated. He's found the enemy Arty. It's a GWE 100. And one shot's enough to finish him off. There's a Jaegeru there. His sixth sense didn't go off, so he wasn't spotted, but he's now found the Jaegeru, and it looks like the Jaegeru is taking damage. He's now up to 3,300 hit points of spotting assist, and he's now going to use this bush here to highlight these enemy vehicles. In fact, he's found another Arty, and he can take that guy out and get a Pascucci's. He fires one into the GWE 100, gets the kill on him. If he can kill this Conqueror gun carriage, he'll actually get a Dimitri's medal. It's just this long reload time. Very frustrating. Got a teammate in an AMX-50B turned up. Will he get the shot? Oh, missed out. The kill went to the M48 Patton, but he's now unloading into that AMX-50B. That is so cruel. He gets the Pascucci's, but he doesn't get the Dimitri's because his teammate kill-stealed. He might have been better off if he'd taken out the Conqueror gun carriage. And then, of course, that would have provided a bit of armour for the GWE, and he would have been able to take it out later, but yeah, unfortunate that. There's only two enemies remaining, an Object 277 and the CS63 that hit him earlier in the game. He's just died. There goes the 277, and that is the end of the first game with Bassman from Hell. Let's have a look at the second game. In the second game, Bassman from Hell is in the Conqueror gun carriage, the Tier 10 British SPG.
Time to roll out.
Well, this beast has a 9.2 inch howitzer, and it's been kind of nicknamed the Conqueror Orbital Laser Cannon because it imitates the ability to nuke targets from outer space. It's based on the hull of the Conqueror heavy tank, but never actually existed. It was never built. It was only a design that people have put forward. In fact, Wargaming have admitted that, yeah, they made this one up. But it's still quite an interesting design, based as it is on the FV3805 design in very similar fashion. And of course, that was a design that actually did exist, and there was a prototype. In fact, there was two prototypes. Well, it's the second biggest gun in the game, 9.2 inch howitzer, 1200 alpha, and a burst radius of 12.2 meters. But it does have a fairly short range, and that means that you have to be careful that your target isn't too far away. Okay, he's finding targets to look at. This is a grand battle, by the way, which means that there's 30 versus 30. And you can see those targets are just too far away. The aim line greys out, that central line that runs from your gun to the target. It's got it green at the moment, but if it's too far, it will grey out. And okay, if it goes red, there's some obstruction in the way that's blocking your shot to the target. Okay, so looking at that CS63, and he's just the other side of that bank, which makes it difficult to get a shot. Now apparently he can see the maximum range for the Arty is just too short to actually hit those guys on the west side, so he's going to have to move a bit closer. And in fact, actually, it's a good job he is moving, because there are some enemies that are, well, almost within spotting distance of him at the moment. Okay, he's got some cover between him and the enemy, and now at maximum range he can just reach those guys. Maybe needs to get a little bit closer. Still trying to keep the buildings between him and that CS63. Now, one of the best things about the Conqueror gun carriage is the ability of the shells to just literally almost come down from above. And in fact, actually, the Conqueror gun carriage shells do make a lovely noise when they're flying at maximum range. They kind of whiz through the air.
That was close.
Well, you didn't hear it there, but they do, I promise you, they do make a kind of whooping noise as they went through the air. Almost as if they're spiraling very slowly as they land on the target. Trust me, I've heard this. It really is weird, but it's actually very reassuring as well. And it's incredibly funny because on some maps, the enemy tries to hide behind buildings. And of course, the problem is you can't hide behind a building when there's a Conqueror gun carriage firing on you at maximum range, because the shell is almost coming down vertically on top of you. And I've taken out progettos who've been hiding behind buildings, basically as Bassman's doing right now in this yard. And the shell just comes down right on top of them. And they just literally vaporize. Okay, he's dialing in on the IS-7. Working out where the guy's going to be. He's pulling forward. Shell's coming down. Lovely, direct hit. He didn't pen, but he did get a hit for 470. Now, one of the big drawbacks with the Conqueror gun carriage is the long reload time. It's between 35 to 37 seconds or thereabouts. Of course, it does decrease if you use pudding and tea, and that's what Bassman's using on this occasion. It's the second biggest damage in the game, other than the top one, which is of course the T92 HMC. And that one will do 1400 alpha, whereas this one does 1200 alpha. That 2684 is looking a very tempting target. You can see he's going straight through the aim point, which is turning it red. Every time he's ready, he's almost going to shoot. He's lining up the shot, but he needs them to come together at the same moment. That's the best thing to do, is try and aim for two tanks at the same time and get them both within the footprint. If you do, you might be able to get as much as 1,000 hit points, 500 off each of them. But he's lost sight of both targets because they're not being spotted by his teammates. So instead, he's looking for a different target. Okay, well, he's found a Heshbarn, a Strib 103B. Which one's he go for? Well, the 103B will be easier to penetrate. And yes, he gets a hit, but it's not a penetration. 487 hit points off the Strib. Oh, that probably would have been a better target, actually, because you've got two tanks together there. Always try and look for the two tanks together if you can. Other than that, hit the priority target. None of the enemy tanks which are there at the moment are being spotted, which is really bad. The worst thing that can happen to an Arty player is he's got a loaded gun, but can't see anything to shoot at. Ideally, what you want to do is have your Arty firing constantly. Direct hit again, 588 on the Jaegeru, and the Jaegeru is taking damage from multiple directions. And he's just gone over 1,000 stun assist, and the Jaegeru's out of the game. Now, there are 4 tanks down on the enemy at this moment. And I'd hazard a guess as the reason why they're actually down that much is because their teammates haven't been spotting the enemy. Here comes the shell, is it? There you go.
That was close.
401. It's a slow flying shell. It's got a long distance to travel as well, which means that it does take a little while to turn up. But it's very, very satisfying when you do actually hit the target. And quite often, if you hit a target you can't see but you suspect might be there, and suddenly the wreck appears out of nowhere because you splattered them with enough force. Going for the gorilla. Rounds out. This could be a kill. It is.
Enemy armor destroyed.
He managed to get the enemy tank within the footprint, and it did enough blast damage to take him out of the game. So it's only down 2 tanks now. Picking the right target is a difficult job for Arty, but it is really about making sure you can take a gun out of the game, but also a gun that actually is being effective. At the moment, he's looking at that Wizzy 5A or Wizzy 111 Model 5A, because that guy is being a danger to the 277. Unfortunately, he's stunned the 277 at the same time. And he's about to get killed by the Object 2684. Yeah, there it goes. Not a lot he could do there, because that was... the 277 was taking on 2 tanks simultaneously. So we're back up to 4 tanks difference. He's about to lay a shell down in the path of that 60 TP. A blind shot. I suspect that was close. The same 268 that killed our 277 is now going after an IS-7, and he puts a shell right through the side of the guy, and he's gone down. This is not looking so good now. It's very much looking as if it's going to be a loss. There are still 4 tanks down, but the enemy is getting closer and closer, and there are still enemy heavies behind Bassman. Well, there goes the object. 291 hit points, and now that's 2 kills for the Bassman. And the trouble is that the enemy is getting so close he might have to move. It's also a difficult job for Arty sometimes to work out when is the best time to get the hell out of a defensive position, because if you stay too long and you try to retreat, you might get caught. That Object 140 is getting very, very close. The closer the enemy, the lower the trajectory of the gun as well, and that can cause problems, because it means that the howitzer will lower its angle, and that means that the shell... Oh, well, he got that one with splash, but it means the gun has to... the howitzer has to lower to get the shot onto the target, and if you're hiding behind a building, then the building itself might get in the way. So 3 kills now. TVP T51's moving in. Can he find this Progetto, who's very low on hit points? And Bassman's about to be loaded. He's just trying to work out where the Progetto's headed. Rounds out. Bit late, I think, but... yeah, he was just a fraction too late. He would have got the kill, I think, if he fired just a split second sooner. But it looks like the TVP T5051 did get the kill. In fact, they're now starting to recover. In fact, they've now gone ahead of the enemy. And it looks like all the tanks except for the Kramvan are now acting and working together to get rid of the last remaining enemy, who happen to be fairly weak on hit points now. Okay, he's seen this 277, which is low on hit points, aiming towards the TVP, who I think just took a hit. Now, can he get the shot to kill this 277? Rounds out. He stopped before moving back, but the splash was enough. And that's 4 kills now for the Bassman. He's having a good battle. TVP's going very deep into enemy territory, but I think he's hunting the enemy Arty. There are still enemy Arty out there. At least 4. I think Bassman's trying to get a bit closer so he can actually get some shots on those guys. 2 tanks up on the enemy now. It's not the fastest of Arty's, but it does have a very satisfying way of playing the Conqueror gun carriage. Okay, we've got another Bobject. But he's got 506 hit points, but I think the baseman can take him out with one shot. He fires, rounds out. Yes! Direct hit! Wiped him out for 433. That's a useful kill. We've had the 2-minute warning. There's only 5 enemies remaining, and 4 of those are Arty. There's only one heavy tank. It's a Super Conqueror, and he is very close to baseman, actually. Now baseman's lining him up for a splash kill. Almost loaded. Rounds out. Yes! Now that's an important kill, because it means now the chances are they will win this game if they can find the remaining Arty in time. Now baseman's going to get at least one more shot before the end of the game. He's loading a premium ammo, because if he can get a big enough splash on the enemy, he can do it. We've got a batch at 155.58 in range. We're dialing in. Less than a minute to go. He's dead. There's only one enemy remaining. They're looking for him. 40 seconds to find him. He's been found. He's in the corner. And that wins the game. So the baseman doesn't get to fire another shot, but he does get the satisfaction of seeing the victory. So let's have a look at the third battle with the baseman from hell. And the third battle sees the baseman from hell in the TS5, the Tier 8 American non-turreted tank destroyer. A premium tank destroyer at that, and he's on the north spawn of Prokhorovka Encounter. Now the TS5 has got a 120mm gun, 400 alpha, and it's capable of penetrating 248mm with standard ammo. With the heat it'll go up to 300mm, and it's got a fairly decent HE round as well that does 515, but it'll only penetrate 60mm. It's a very tough tank destroyer, which is basically, you might say, well, it's not a prototype of the T28, but it is certainly a variation that they did consider before they actually settled on the T28 tank destroyer. Now this is a premium one, and there was a marathon for everyone to get one of these if they wanted to, for free or to work their way forwards. Looks like the Striv is saying thank you for working around him, but he's actually going to move forward, try and spot the enemy, let the enemy shoot at him, and hopefully they'll bounce their rounds off him, but then he will provide the spotting information that enables his teammates to get the kills on the enemy. He's creeping forwards bit by bit. Now knocking a tree down does give away his position, and there might be enemy light tanks up ahead. That's more than likely is a light tank watching. In fact, is there a light tank? I look at the list and I can't see one actually. I think there's only mediums in that list. The Barask, the P44 Pantera, and he's found one, Striv. He uses the bush mechanic and takes out the Striv with one shot, but the Striv did take damage from multiple tanks at the same time. In fact, the enemy Pantera just got taken out as well. Or was that the Pantera? No, that was our Pantera was taken out by theirs. And Barask. Okay, nice. Multiple shots flying past him, and the Barask is out. 18-15. Go for the little cupola. If he offers the side, track him on the side. If not, try go for the cupola. He's taking fire. In fact, he's trying to get closer. That's it, track him. He's tracked. Okay, go for the cupola. Track him again. Oh, yeah, it took a round from that 18-15. In fact, And he's bouncing a few rounds and the others are going into his tracks. Ah, the Star 1 managed to get a penetrating shot, but most of the shots that have hit him have just been absorbed. Yes, that Star knows how to get through him. But the Star's just been taken out by our Wizzy 1201 GFT. And he's going forward now. Oh, no. I'm not sure this is a smart move. He's turned sideways to engage this lurver. And although he can see the lurver, he might be a target, a right target. Now for the enemy, they hit him in the side. I've never tried to say to anyone, turn your vehicle sideways when you're within firing range of the enemy on a line like this, because if you turn sideways on this one, yeah, the shells will pen. It's sometimes better to ignore a really juicy target and just keep going forwards so your teammates can get shots on the ones that you find to the south. Yeah, you see he's having difficulty trying to use the bush mechanic on those tanks. He does get a shot into the VK and he's using the Striv hull or wreck as extra armour, but he has been spotted because they are firing at him and the shells were bouncing off the wreck. Now if he was to fire at the VK side on, the VK might see him, but then the enemies, the teammates of that VK might shoot him in the side from the south. The Baraska's decided to go ahead, and I think that's prompted the baseman to do the same. Yeah, the Barask driver's not a very smart guy. He's taking damage and he shouldn't have done that. And it looks like Baseman took an HE round from Scorpion. And now he's decided to retreat, having realised his mistake, and the Baseman's pushing forward. He knows the Scorpion's in this direction because that's where the shell came from. Just needs to keep the front of the vehicle pointing towards the Scorpion. Any second now he's going to start seeing a lot of enemy tanks as they tend to huddle in this area. Yep, there's the first one. Charioteer puts a round in there. Yeah, Scorpion, IS-3A. Oh yes, I did say they huddle, and that's exactly what he's got. So he's got his gun towards the enemy, frontal armour. He's dealt with the Charioteer. Was there a Charioteer? Just keep your front, keep moving. Keep your front to the enemy. He's blocked 1800 hit points of damage. He might actually be on for a steel wall. It's almost like he's goading them into shooting him so he can reveal where they are. We know there's an IS-3A in there somewhere. he's saying, so you guys are going to hang back at the back? I'm just going to hang back there? Yeah, I think he's asking for some support. In fact, his teammates are going after the VK, and so he's decided to go after the IS-3A. Yep. Nice pen there. And the IS-3 didn't like that, so he fired back. But there you go, he's out the game. Bit of a mistake. He got himself spotted, got annoyed, fired at the baseman, and then got taken out of the game. So there's only 5 enemies remaining. The VK's in the middle of the field. The P-44 and the Samua are also up on top of the hill. And that means there's only a Lorraine 15551. He must be down by the railway line. So he can just power on ahead now. There's only 4 remaining. There's the Lorraine. He was right. Kill. Yes. He didn't get the kill, unfortunately. The Charioteer got it. But the enemy realizes they're in trouble now because he's getting closer and closer. The Pantera's gone down into that little pool of water. The Samua's up on top of the hill. We don't know where the Udes is, but I suspect that he's up on the hill as well, just unspotted. Oh, there's only one left. The Samua just bit the dust. Only 2 left, rather. There's the Pantera. There's the Udes up on top of the hill. You can stop, Bassman. Stop. Take the shot. Take the shot. Go for it. Go for it. Yep. And again. Easy kill for you, Bassman. Yes. And that wins the game. So nicely done. A few holes, ventilation ports on the vehicle. Yes, sort of. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats for all 3 battles. And here's the end of battle results. And in the first battle, the AMX 13105, the Bassman managed to get a first class tanker, a spotter badge, a fire for effect, as well as a Pascucci's medal. It would have been a Demetrius if he got that last kill, the Conqueror gun carriage, but he didn't get it because it was kill stealed by the pattern. And he also got a patrol duty for being the only one spotting at least 6 enemy tanks while they were damaged, and a scout medal. So this is the Holy Trinity: spotter, patrol duty, scout, but unfortunately no ace tanker on this occasion. 4,638 was the win rate to that game, so he did very well indeed. Super Unicum standard. And if we can look at the team score, we can see that he didn't get the highest damage in the game. The highest damage was the M48 Patton, who kill-stealed that Conqueror. He got 4,005 hit points of damage. The second highest damage being the AMX 50B with 3,999, not that far behind, only 6 hit points in it. And Bassman, well, he was 2,744 hit points, a little further down the table. When it came to kills though, it was that M48 Patton. He was 1 tank short of, or 1 kill short of a Top Gun, whereas BassmanFromHell ended up with 2 kills, so did the Object 140. And when it came to base XP, it was the Bassman, because he did so much spotting in that game. 1,025, the only player to get over 1,000, but the Patton was very close behind him with 977, and the Conqueror gun carriage on his team got 843 base, and he picked up a Confederate. Bassman fired 11 shots in the entire game, got 10 direct hits and 8 penetrations. Damage of 2,744 hit points, of which 1,125 were at more than 300 meters. He did receive a hit. It was that CS-63, and it did penetrate, I'm afraid. Yeah, that did hurt, but he avoided being shot for the rest of the game. 9 enemy vehicles spotted, 6 enemy vehicles damaged, 2 killed, and 5,642 hit points of spotting assist. And that's why his base XP was so high, because he did so much spotting for his team. 69,152 credits on a premium account, got 34,576 from personal reserves, and 25,586 from holiday ops. So his total was 129,313 credits altogether, and after repair and ammunition resupply, he took away a profit of 112,064 credits altogether. He got 7 bonds for this being a tier 10 vehicle, and he also earned 1,537 XP times 2 for the first victory, took away 3,075 experience points altogether. So a very good game in the first one. Nice little first class, Pascucci, patrol duty, and a scout, a Holy Trinity. Let's have a look at the second battle. That was the Conqueror gun carriage, and that was on Hinterland in a grand battle, and that was an ace tanker game in the Conqueror gun carriage. Not his first ace, he's had one before, and he also managed to get a bruiser and a Gauze medal for doing more damage than 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle. Win rate from that one was 5,731, slightly better. And we look at the number of tanks he actually damaged in that game. Yes, there's quite a few, considering this was a grand battle, 30 versus 30. When it came to damage, he didn't get the highest. That was the Strip 103B on his own team with 7,046. But you can see that he actually did get the third the fourth highest damage overall, because the Striv 103B managed to get 5,501, and then the Progetto on the enemy team 5,055, and then we've got Bassman with 4,620 hit points. When it came to kill though, he was the top dog with 6 kills. 5 kills went to the TVP T5051, and he managed to get a Demetrius in that game, and 4 kills went to the Striv 103Bs, and that was it. Let's have a look at the base XP, and yes, that one's Bassman as well. So he's got top in kills and in base XP. 1,130 goes to the Bassman, 1,082 goes to the TVP, and those are the only 2 players who managed to get over 1,000 base, with 984 going to the Striv 103B, or at least one of them, and 980 to the other one. He fired 15 rounds in that game, got 4 direct hits, no penetrations but 20 splash. Damage of 4,620 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 14 of the enemy, killed 6, did 1,307 hit points of spotting assist, or is that damage assist, sorry, and 1,199 of stun assist of 13 stuns. On a premium count, he earned 73,476 credits from this game, 36,738 from personal reserves, and 34,534 from holiday ops, so his grand total was 144,748 credits altogether. After ammunition and consumables, and remember he did fire premium ammo towards the end of the game to make sure he got the maximum effect, 43,598 credits profit. If he'd actually had a free-to-play account, he would have made a loss. He got 7 bonds because this was tier 10, and 1,695 XP, 6,780 from holiday ops, and took away 8,475 experience points altogether. So another great battle by the Bassman. Let's have a look at the last battle, the TS5. Well, in that one he got a first class tanker in the TS5, and he got his first mark of excellence as well in that game, so obviously he's improving as time goes on. Got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills, he got 4 exactly, a shell proof, spotter, duelist, fire for effects, and hand of God for surviving the battle, having received damage from at least 4 different enemies. On top of which he got a brothers in arms for getting at least 3 kills and being in platoon with somebody else who got 3 kills. And yes, he did get that steel award because he was blocking the most damage and he did survive to the end. His win rate from this game, 6,401, which is Super Unicum standard. Now, he did get the highest damage in the game, but for some reason he didn't get the highest high caliber. Maybe it wasn't 20% of the enemy hit pool in total. 3,633 hit points. The next high scorer being the Striv S1 got 3,309, and then the Charioteer got 3,098. The Striv S1 got a Confederate, the Charioteer got a Brothers in Arms and Confederate. That was the guy he was platooned with. When it came to kills, he had the highest number of those with 4 kills, 3 kills to the Charioteer, 2 kills to the Wizzy 120, 1GFT and the IS-3, along with the Samur SM and the AT-15 on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, he was top on that one as well, so he's got the top in all 3 columns on this one. 1,442 to the Bassman, 1,256 goes to the Wizzy 120, 939 to the Charioteer he was platooned with. He fired 14 rounds in this one, 12 direct hits, 11 penetrations, damage of 3,633 hit points, of which 626 were at more than 300 meters. He received 14 hits from the enemy, only 4 of which actually penetrated, 7 non-penetrations, and 3 hits by way of splash damage. He blocked damage of 2,190 hit points in total, spotted 4 enemy vehicles, damaged 8 of the enemy, killed 4, did 3,747 hit points of spotting assist during that game as well. On a premium count, he earned 138,780 credits, 69,390 from holiday ops, total 208,170, and after repair and ammunition resupply took away 185,513 credits altogether. So a big scorer. 2,163 XP, 17,304 from holiday ops, so he must have got a 5 times on that, and 216 for this being a premium vehicle, took away 19,683 experience points altogether. Well, that was a really good game as well, and it just goes to show that the Bassman can play any type of tank, or most types of tank, and play them very well. And he got a really good game in the TS5, an absolutely brilliant game in the Conqueror gun carriage, and of course a very good game, a Holy Trinity, in the AMX 13105. So I think you could say the Bassman from Hell is a bit of an all-rounder. He does play medium tanks and heavy tanks as well. He just chooses to play the tanks that he likes to play. And he likes playing light tanks, he likes playing Arty, he likes playing tank destroyers. Basically, he just picks the tanks he likes. And that's the best way to do it, because this is a game and we're only in it for the enjoyment. So do what you feel you do best. I hope you enjoyed those 3 games from the Bassman from Hell. If you did, please give them a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a comment down below because it feeds the YouTube algorithm, and thank you for watching.